Colin McRae was one of the most talented rally drivers the world has ever seen. But a helicopter accident in September brought premature ends to the lives of Colin, his son Johnny, Ben Percelli and Graham Duncan. Motorsport would dominate Colin's life. His father Jimmy was a multiple winner of the British Rally Championship.
Right from he could walk, basically, he was interested in wheels and cars and anything with wheels on it.
Just said to Jim one day, I said, I'll show you where I practice, and it was up near Blackwood. And I took the two guys up there and we were running around in bikes, and I looked at a steep slope at the far end of the area I was practicing on, and I said to Jim, I climbed that just the other day there. And Jim looked at me, he didn't. And Colin stopped. He didn't get up there. I said, no problem. And suddenly this blur came hurtling past us. Colin, full chat up the hill, over the top on the back wheel, popped down the front, and then just sat up there, looked down at the two of us smugly. And I just said to Jim on that day, and this is a 13-year-old kid, I said to Jim, he's something special. And so it turned out.
When we come back from holiday, had got friends in Coltness Car Club together, managed to get a Hillman Avenger, sent away for his competition licence, got his competition licence and did the rally, and we didn't know anything about it until we come back.
I started in motocross because that's what I wanted to do, that's where my interest was, and he never ever pushed me to try to drive a rally car. He just more or less left it up to myself, and it was actually me and some guys from the local car club that had to go and sort out my own rally car to do the first rally. And he just sat back until he saw that I had the commitment there, and then he stepped in and helped me afterwards.
And it was Colin's enthusiasm that led to his first Scottish Championship season when he was just 17.
He had an HBC Talbot Sunbeam, hashed, bashed and crashed. And he did a full season with that wee car in 1986, and how it survived, I've no idea. He was like a pool table ball, ricocheting off the trees, ricocheting off the scenery. But by cracky, he could drive. Because in the early days, he had a desire to drive. It was only later that the will to win came through.
For the 1987 campaign, the Sunbeam was replaced by a Vauxhall Nova, and Colin was joined by Derek Ringer, who was entrusted with the pace notes and the co-driver's seat.
When he got the Nova, he asked if I would do the national championship with him. So I said, OK, we'll do a few rallies, see where it goes. No, I never had at that point any aspirations to do this professionally. You know, it was a fun thing to do at the time, but once I got involved with Colin and you know, you relate to his level of commitment, and I realised, well, we're going to do this, we might as well put 110% into it.
Derek, being a driver, he had the flair for speed as well, but I mean, it was a good relationship, and for two guys to come from, you know, car club level to world champion, I think it worked well.
The following year, Colin became the youngest ever Scottish champion, driving 6 different cars in the process, including his first encounter with a Sierra Cosworth.
Which is the most unlikely rally car in the world. It's like a tank with wheels rather than tracks. And yet, he could make this thing dance. In his hands, it was like an Exocet missile, just going through the woods. So, when someone that young can take a car that big and heavy and turn it into a rally winner, as he did, then the rest of the rallying world sat up and took notice.
Go! 4 right minus...
1990, the season didn't go particularly well. You know, we had a couple of accidents, all the usual sorts of things, but by the end of the season we got our hands on a 4-wheel drive car for the RAC. We also managed to comprehensively destroy most of the car. My door was held closed with a farmer's gate bolt, but I think we ended up about 6th.
Once he came on the scene in a 4-wheel drive car, I realised that my mantle as, should we say, #1 British driver was going to be very short-lived.
Colin's performances were now attracting the attention of the big manufacturer teams, and in 1991, ProDrive, responsible for the Subaru team, took a chance on the young Scot.
we knew we were going to have a sort of, it was going to be an uphill battle. We were against the likes of Toyota and Ford Motor Company, and we didn't expect a lot of success on the World Championship scene. But we thought, well, if we had a British team running and a young British team as well, then at least we could have something sort of, you know, some positive days on the British Championship, which we could sort of all rally round. And so that was the context in terms of the team.
The fact we were able to produce results for them, albeit in the British Championship, was quite a morale-boosting exercise, not just for us, but obviously for ProDrive itself, and it gave a lot more credibility to their efforts.
Those efforts resulted in a first British Rally Championship title, and the elite world stage was beckoning.
By the end of that year, we then did the RAC for them, and you know, had teammates of Marco Alain and Ari Vatanen, you know, heroes of mine when I was younger. We had an accident in the end. But when we had accidents, we had professional accidents. But the other thing was we also got out of a lot of situations. As long as we could pull the car out, we always thought the mechanics could fix it at the end.
It gave the guys a chance to be heroes as well, because he so often put them in the spotlight by bringing it in with 3 wheels or whatever. You know. You were never in any doubt whether the driver was giving it all he'd got or not. You were never in any doubt about how fast the car could go, because Colin always made sure it was either at the limit or beyond it.
And the car was at the limit on the other side of the world in 1993.
New Zealand was always one of our favourite events. It's a real driver's rally. The roads are fantastic, and we've been a couple of times before. There was a lot of pressure on the team.
We were just about to change to the new car, and unbeknown to the rest of the world, the president of the company had said to us, you know, Japanese, we can't change to the new car without a success with the old car. There's a sort of lot of pride in this.
We went into about the middle of the rally, into a very famous stage, the Motu Road. We went in 4th place. Colin drove it absolutely perfectly. A real tactical approach to that stage, where lots of drivers lost a lot of time in the conditions. We went in 4th, came out 1st, and then we had 2 days of the pack chasing us, and it was real nail-biting stuff, all separated by a few seconds. The only people who weren't nervous about winning the rally were Colin and myself.
It cost me a fortune in phone calls, I can assure you, because at that time we couldn't just go into the website and get the results. So, I mean, it was very much fingers crossed, you know, getting a phone call for phoning after every stage to see what was happening. But it was very a proud moment as well, because it was his first World Championship win, and it was Subaru's first World Championship win.
That victory in New Zealand meant the new car was released, and in the 1994 RAC rally, the home fans had a British victory for the first time in 17 years.
You know, we really grew together. He grew in his experience, his public acclaim, just as we did. The sort of blue and yellow, which has become so iconic for Subaru today in the World Championship, became so in those days, and particularly in Britain and Scotland, of course. And those early victories and that win at the in Chester on the RAC rally was something, it's hard to describe to people now just what an occasion it was and how the whole country came behind it.